Hello and welcome back to my craft room. Today I thought I'd come back and show you how I've been getting on with my sock knitting. Something I've never done before. I haven't knitted for a long time. I usually prefer to crochet, and knitting socks is something I've never done, but I was well up for the challenge. So I got this box. I owned this box the other day. Ooh, I'm holding it upside down, aren't I? This is the Stitch Kit sock subscription box. Stitch Kit do all kinds of craft subscriptions boxes. They have 6 different needlecraft disciplines. There's macrame, sewing and patchwork, cross stitch and embroidery, crochet, knitting, and amigurumi, which they do separately from the other crochet. So that's for their normal subscription boxes, which start at £25. And I've tried a couple of those now. I was absolutely thrilled to bits with them. I'm going to put the Stitch Kit playlist in the description box below this video, so you can check them out if you would like to. I was just blown away by how much you get for the price. Genuinely, yeah. Watch for yourself. You watch for yourself. Yeah, I think you'll agree. What they're going to do is each month, they're going to send me a different one of their subscription boxes to try. Now, they also do other types of subscriptions, such as the sock subscription, and lots of others as well, and one-off boxes. So I was very excited, and they said they'd leave it a surprise as to what they were going to send me each month. Knitting socks wouldn't have been something I'd have chosen, but when it arrived, I thought, yeah, do you know, I'm up for the challenge. I'm always up for a new crafting challenge. And it has been a challenge, but I'm very glad that I gave it a go and I didn't give up. I'll show you how I'm getting on in a second. But first of all, let me just explain, because since I opened the box, I've had a bit of clarification from Kirsty. So the monthly sock subscription box would usually be £19.95 a month, and that includes postage to the UK. Currently they don't post outside of the UK, but they are looking into it, so if I get any updates on that, I'll let you know, because I know a lot of my viewers aren't in the UK, might be interested. Normally a one-off box would be £23, but what they're doing is, for each month that they send me a box, they're going to make a one-off box available. And I was so excited. I went on their website, which I will also leave a link to, and there's an Arty, Farty and his one-off sock box. I was so excited. And that is, although it's a one-off, it's still only £19.95, and Kirsty has given us a discount code just for us. So if you put socks 10 at checkout, you will get a 10% discount off either your first subscription box or your one-off box. So it's a bargain anyway. In a second I'll show you what you get in the box. I managed to miss something up when I did the opening. I missed something which I found at the bottom of the box afterwards. It's a bargain anyway. To get 10% off is brilliant, and I'm not, anybody that knows me will know I'm not, I wouldn't just be saying that. I just wouldn't do it. I've lost my thread now. What was I waffling on about? You can either subscribe monthly, pay monthly, or you can do 3 months, 6 months, 9 months or 12 month subscriptions, and you can save a bit more money by doing that as well, and still get that 10% off that first box. Brilliant. So let me quickly show you what was inside the box. The box, as you can see, is a bit too big to get, and the boxes are always this huge, and it was full, beautifully wrapped. If you want to look at the unboxing, that will be in the playlist as well. So I'm going to open the box here and not try and get it under the camera, because I knocked the camera last time. And I'll show you what, I'll take you to the desk and show you what we get inside. No, I won't take you to the desk. I'm saving it for the big sock reveal in a second. So what we got in the box was 3 balls of this wool. It's King Cole wool. It's this Fair Isle Effect self-patterning yarn, and I was really excited to see how that was going to knit up, and it's been really fun. And what I've got left over, I'm going to try crocheting, because I want to see how that comes out as well. So 3 balls of that, which it turns out I've already done one whole sock, and I'm sort of halfway through the next one, and I haven't even gone into a second ball yet. So that is brilliant. And then there were 3 pairs of needles. The pair I'm using, which is a 3.75mm, and 2 other sizes, 4mm and 3.25mm. They're millward needles, really nice quality. all of the stuff that I've had in all of their boxes has all been good brands, nice quality materials, which are always nicer to work with, aren't they? So 3 pairs of needles, 3 balls of wool. The pattern, it's the King Cole pattern, is this one. So there are 6 different types of socks that you can do, and you can do them from kids up to men's size. And what Rachel has done, because it's Kirsty Broadbent is the founder of the company. Rachel is the lady that works with her that I've been mostly communicating with, and who puts the boxes together. So what Rachel has done is she's put enough wool in here to more than enough to knit even the biggest size, and she's put in 3 sizes of needles. So whichever one of the patterns within this collection I chose, I'd have what I would need, which is fantastic. So the pattern, the needles, and the wool. The wool alone, I looked all these things up online, the wool alone is over £4 for a ball. Needles seem to vary from £3 to £5. So the pattern is £2.99. So do the maths. I mean, already that's more than the what you're paying for the box. And then there's all these little extras. And it includes the postage, the pretty box, the beautiful tissue. And then there were these little presents too. So there's this lovely little project notebook. It's a little special stitch kit one, which has got handy abbreviations and things in there. What I didn't notice at the time was there's this gorgeous pen. I'll show you better in a minute when we go to the desk. It's a really nice quality pen. Fabulous. I didn't even notice that when I opened it. And a packet of sweeties, which I still haven't opened. But once I've filmed this, I probably will. So that is everything I got in the box. Now it's time for the big sock reveal. Now, bear in mind, I am a complete beginner. I haven't knitted for years, and I've never knitted a sock. So be kind. And I thought what I'd do today, because there were some things that I struggled a little bit with partway through the pattern, and I thought I'd come back and just work through those with you and show you what I found out. Very much from a beginner's perspective. This is going to be by no means an expert tutorial. If you need a proper tutorial, you'll find lots of them on YouTube. That's what I had to do. There's a point where I thought I'm going to have to watch a tutorial on this, and that's what I did. It's fine. Ta-da! This is my sock. This is its best side. I do love it. I absolutely love how this wool knits up for a start. How it creates this kind of faux ferrule effect without any ends to sew in and things, which is brilliant. And I just love the fun of watching the pattern gradually kind of emerge all by itself. The parts I struggled with were when you have, because this is all Rachel put this one in because it's more beginner friendly for someone who's not knitted socks before. So if you wanted a sock subscription, big thing I forgot to mention is that what the huge difference with stitch kit boxes is that each one is bespoke. It's custom made for you. So they've made the one-off sock box available in case any of my viewers would like to try one out. So you can kind of put a toe in the water and see what you think if you're interested in subscribing. So it's available as a one-off box, which normally would cost you more than a monthly subscription, but they're doing that as a special for us. But it's still custom made. So if, for example, if you are a bit more experienced than me and you're interested in a sock knitting subscription from them, what you can do is when you order, you fill in a little survey thing. It says complete survey, and you can let them know what kind of colours you would prefer, or if you would rather work on circular needles, or if you would rather do the 4 needles. You know, you get the 4 double-ended needles. I would have found that a bit daunting. Although I'm tempted to try it now. If, for example, you've already got loads of needles, then you can just let them know you don't need the needles, you'd rather have more wool instead. They're so flexible, and they're really friendly and easy to talk to and very responsive by email. So I would say get in touch with them if you've got any questions at all. So right, now we're going to go back to the desk again. So yeah, this one, the reason Rachel sent me this pattern is that it's knitted flat with just one pair of needles at a time. And that is true, but there were things I'd never done, like when it came to dividing for the heel kind of thing, and then turning the heel. That's the part where I had to go and watch a tutorial because I couldn't work it out from what it said on the pattern. And the only other thing I struggled with was sewing them up. Now, I'm really used to sewing up crocheted garments, so I wasn't foreseeing any problems, but for some reason I couldn't make my sewing up look very neat. Part of it is because it's a kind of variegated wool. Of course, the part you're using isn't going to match, so I've got that brown going through there. I could have just taken a part of the wool that would match this. That would have made more sense now I come to think about it, but I'm thinking my second sock hopefully will be better, and I've got enough here that I could make a third sock. So I did say that this was the best side of my sock. This is the not so good side. You see, so this is my back. I haven't stitched that up very well at all, and I'm very open to any advice that anyone can give me. I didn't want to end up with kind of lumpy seams inside as it's a sock, but yeah, you can see I've not done a great job there. I don't think. And also there was a point where I dropped my stitches and picked them up, but didn't do a great job of it, so it's a bit funny looking there. But do you know what I'm thinking now is that, because I always like to put my own spin on things, I'm wondering whether when I'm done with my second sock I go back over, double up some of the yarn and do a deliberately oversized big stitch across the seams. I think I might quite like the look of that, and where I've got this sort of dodgy looking bit here, and it's not just about what it looks like, I'm just worried it might not be so secure or something. But what I could do is do a deliberate kind of visible mend, a deliberate darn over that area, and that would make these socks very much my own. So I think I'm going to go through and work on the second sock and then do something to slightly customise this. Another thought occurred to me, because I've got all of this wool left still, is that I could do a little pom-pom trim. Could be quite cute. Oh, no, not on the toe, that'd be stupid. I could put a little, or tassels. I could make little tassels. So yeah, I might do just kind of put my own spin on them a little bit. But the first thing I need to do is make this second sock. So I'm going to put this one out of the way, or a potential thumbnail showing my best side of my sock. I am very proud of it. I'm very proud of it, and I do love a kit that gets you learning new things, and you know, yeah, the satisfaction of having struggled a bit to work it out, but getting there in the end is huge. So this is the point that I've got to, where I've just done straight knitting up to 22 centimetres. So I decided to do number 6, version number 6. This is number 6, so it tells you which size of needles to use, how many to cast on. It was 59, and then you work in 1 by 1 rib. So again, but you know, aiming this at complete beginners like me, a 1 by 1 rib means that you go knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and you end on a right side, this said. So see, that little things confuse me. When you're not used to it, little things confuse me. So you work up to 22 centimetres, ending with the right side row, and I thought, well, what's right side and wrong side? How do I know which is supposed to be right side and wrong side? I decided right side was the first one I started with, so I started with a knit and then went knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. So I decided that was the right side, and I've done the same thing again this time. I don't really know if that's right. So this is my right side, and then it says to break off yarn. So now I've done that, then I work as for the long 1 by 1 rib socks, which that was number 5. From the double asterisk. So this is where you go divide heel. So this is the first bit where I struggled a little bit as a beginner, so that's where I thought I'd come in and show you what I kind of found out. But as I say, I'm a million miles away from an expert, so if anybody's got further advice or anyone can tell me I'm doing this wrong, please feel free. So this was quite straightforward so far, even though I thought, oh, divide heel, what do they mean? But okay, let's just follow the instructions. Slip the first, I'm doing the 4th size, the lady size, so it's not this one, not this one, not this one, it's this one I want to do. So it's worth going through if you can make yourself do it, which clearly I didn't, and just ringing the right one for the size you're doing. This is a lovely pen, really nice to use. So slip the first 14 stitches under the right hand needle, A. As well. I just panicked. A? What do they mean? Needle A? What? But I shouldn't have panicked. Okay, just slip them across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 14. Double check just to be sure. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. There we go. Slip the next 31 stitches onto a stitch holder B. And notice the bit I skipped over when I first did this. It says there in brackets instep stitches. It does say. So that is the next 31 stitches. Okay, 28, 29, 30, 31. And slip the remaining 14 stitches onto a spare needle C. Well, I didn't have a spare needle downstairs, so I ended up messing around with a crochet hook and another stitch holder, but I'm going to use one of these extra needles that I've got. So this is the remaining 14 stitches, hopefully. 1, 2, 3, 4, 13, 14. So that's on my spare needle. With right side facing, rejoin yarn to the instep edge of 14 stitches A at the end of the first row. Bracket stitches on the right hand needle, so it's these. So that was with right side facing. So I've got to turn it, haven't I? Yes. Because this was the right side. So with the right side facing, rejoin yarn to the instep edge. Because I didn't notice before, I thought, how am I supposed to know which is the instep edge? But of course I missed the bit before where it says in brackets there, these are the instep stitches. So this is the instep edge of the 14 stitches A at the end of the first row. And knit to the end. Okay, so I'm going to rejoin the yarn here. Go back to my proper sized needles, make sure I've got the right one, 375. Let's leave a nice long end here. So I seem to have plenty to play with. So I'm just knitting now, I'm not doing knit 1 purl 1 rib anymore. Sorry about the clattering noise, it's because my needles are clattering on my work desk. This isn't the easiest filming arrangement, but I seem to have got that stitched the wrong way around. Where I slipped the stitches across, I've slipped them in the wrong direction. That's okay, I can just change them over first before I knit them, that's fine. Okay, so I've knitted across there, so I'm going to turn this way now, like that, so now I can knit across those stitches as well. Just straight, carry on straight across. Where's my working yarn gone? Go pull all that up nice and snug. I don't want a big gap in between them. Oh, it is awkward doing it at this angle, it really is. Keep pulling them up. I'm getting gappage. Okay, so I'm going to carry on knitting till I get to the end of, oops, that row. So I say sorry for the tapping noise. It's unavoidable. When I slip these stitches over, I definitely slipped them the wrong way around, so I'm having to take each stitch off and put it on the right way around before I knit it, but it's fine. Yeah. Take that off, put it back on the right way around, and now I can knit it. I just should have transferred them onto the spare needle the right way around in the first place, but there we go. Live and learn. I don't think I did that the first time. I must have managed to get it right the first time. By complete fluke. Just coming to the end of that now, knitting that last stitch. So now I've knitted all the way across there. This is the bit, this is the instep bit that we're saving on the stitch holder. And this is the stitches I'm working on now, so I'm going to count them up and make sure I've got the right number. So knit across these stitches, so there should be 28 and it says AC because it was what was on needle A and needle C. So there should be 28. And then it says beginning with a purl row, so if I turn my work now, this will be a purl row, which looks right. And then I've got to work 15 for my size, 15 rows in stocking stitch, which for complete beginners like me is purl one row, knit the next row. So I'm starting with my purl row, put the wrong size needle out the way, make sure I stay with my 3.75. So now I'm going to start my row of purl here, purl all the way across, turn my work, and then I'll do a knit stitch on the next one to do my stocking stitch. 15 times, so I'll just keep a little tally by the side here. And then we come to the turn heel part, and that was the other bit that was completely new to me. I had no idea, so I thought I'll just come back and show you how I got on with how I worked that out, and hopefully it'll be helpful to someone else who's a beginner like me, and also it'll give the opportunity for more experienced sock knitters like Paula, hello Paula, help, to maybe tell me where I'm going wrong if I am. Yeah, I've done my 15 rows now of stocking stitch, ending on this right side row, so you can start to see now how this is gonna come together. That's the instep, that will come up to the top of the foot, and this is now going to turn into the heel. So this is where we come to the turn heel bit. And up to now I was feeling quite pleased with myself and relatively relaxed about it all. I've made a bit of a mess there, look. Didn't do that very well. I blame trying to do that bit out at arm's length. I did that better the first time. Doesn't matter, I'll sort it out when I sew it up. Yeah, this is where it started to go a bit pear-shaped for me. I was all right when I was just following the instructions here, first, second, third and fourth row, and then I got to here and thought, what on earth? And then I had to go to the tutorial. So I'm going to work through these rows with you so I can kind of share the bits I did manage to do to find out. So knit 15 and knit the first 15 stitches as normal. 15, so double check, 2, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. And then slip one, knit one, pass slip stitched over, knit one and turn. So slip one, knit one, pass the slip stitch over and knit one, and then turn. And at this point I'm thinking, but what about these? Trust the process. I'm going to tick these rows off as I do them as well. So I've done that first row. So second row of the turn heel bit, purl 4, purl 2 together, purl 1 and turn. Okay, purl 1, 4, purl 2 together. So put my needle through both the stitches, purl 1, turn. So again I'm leaving that bit on the end there. This is all a bit mysterious to me at this stage. To be honest, it still is. How it actually works out is like magic to me. I still don't quite understand it, but there we go. So now I've done the first 2 rows of the heel turn. Now I'm going to on the third row, and I'm going to knit 5, slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, knit another one and turn. Pass the slip stitch over, knit 1 and turn. So far so good. Fourth row, purl 6, purl 2 together, purl 1 and turn. 5, 6. Now notice, before I go on, you can see this slight gap here, and that where that gap is and where you did the decrease before is where you purl the 2 together each time. But I didn't know that at this point. I wasn't even kind of aware of the gap, to be honest. So here I'm going to purl 2 together, purl 1 more and turn. Cross off I've done my row 4. Now if I could have just carried on following specific instructions like that for each row, I'd have been fine. But this is the point where I got stuck, because it just says continue as set, decreasing 1 stitch on each row to 16 stitches. So until I've got 16 stitches left. I had absolutely no idea what that means. Continue as set. This is why I had to go and watch a tutorial. To cut a long story short, this is what I found out. That where you've got that kind of gap there, where you've decreased on the previous row, that's where on this right facing row you'll end up doing knit 1, slip 1, pass a slip stitch over, and on the purl row you'll end up purling 2 together. It's where you need to look for that gap, and that's where you do it. That's what I found out. That doesn't sound like a very technical way of explaining it, but in the end that worked for me. So in this case I'm going to knit 1, 2, 3. So when I get to this gap here, I'm going to do my slip 1, knit 1, pass the slip stitch over, knit 1 more and turn. And I'm on my purl row, and you can see that's that gap there where I did that turn. It's kind of a decreasing turn, isn't it, I suppose. So I'm going to purl up to there. Now when I did this, when I did the first sock, I was just snipping the first stitch off the needle rather than actually making a stitch. This time I've tried it the other way to see if it's tidy or if it's going to make my making up any easier, but I think I'm probably going to wish I'd done it the first way, but hey ho, I'm just experimenting, learning as I go. Let's at least be consistent through the sock. So I'm going to just purl all across here till I get to the gap, and then where the gap is I'm going to purl those 2 together. So again I'm decreasing 1 there, and then purling 1 more and turning. Hopefully that pattern's starting to emerge now. Let's try it once more. So there's my gap there. So as the pattern says, I'm decreasing 1 stitch each row, and I've got to keep doing this until there are only 16 stitches altogether. And by the time I get to that stage, magically I haven't got any leftover stitches anymore. It's like a moment of revelation for me. So each time I'm getting fewer left over at the end. So I'm slipping this one, knitting this one, passing the slip stitch over, knitting 1 more and turning. So now I've hardly got any left there now, look. Okay, so let's just have a look. There's my gap again this time. Purling 2 together across that gap, pull 1 more, turn. So you can see now that heel shape is starting to form. Isn't that good? And if I keep just doing this, following that same process, oops, I'll get to a point where I've only got 16 left. I think it said 16, didn't it? 16, yeah. Back in a sec when I've finished working across and I've only got 16 left. Come to the point where I've knitted 2 together there and then knitted 1 like before, and now I've got no stitches left over at that end. So this should be my last row for this bit. So I'm going to purl up to the point, up to that gap again, which is right near the end now. So here's my gap. Purl those 2 together, purl 1, and we're magically at the end of the row with none left over. So hopefully there's now 16 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Yay! That was a good feeling once I finally cracked that. And if you look there, you can see that it's created that heel shape. I'm not sure if I'm doing something wrong. There's this funny little kind of loopiness here. I don't know if that's a problem or not. If anyone can advise, please feel free. But you know, I think this is just, it's going to take practice for sure. So then the next 2 rows are quite straightforward comparatively. Where did I get to? So I'm knitting all the way across here to the last 3 stitches. No, last 2 stitches. Slip 1, slip 1, pass, slip stitch over. And then with this one I'm going to go all the way to the end, purl 2 together and break off the yarn. There we go, purled all the way across, and then I'm, oops, purling those last 2 stitches together. I should now have 14 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Brilliant. Break off yarn. Right, now this was the next bit that foxed me. So what it says I must do now is, with the right side facing, so I've still got these stitches on here, but I've broken the yarn off. I've got to rejoin the yarn at the instep. So this is where the instep starts. What I eventually worked out I have to do is work my way up here. So it says to rejoin the yarn at the instep and then pick up 14 stitches evenly spaced along the side of the heel, which will be this. But it took me a while to work that out. So that's the bit of the heel I'm working on. This is the side of the heel. That's where the instep is. So I need to pick my stitches up evenly from this point up to here, but there aren't exactly 14 stitches, so I'm not really quite sure how you're supposed to do that. If there's an easy way, please tell me, someone. I can't even see exactly which bit I should be picking up. I think I'm going to go for like here, but I'm not really sure. By looking at tutorials again, I discovered that the best way to pick up the stitches is to use a crochet hook. At least that worked the best for me, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take, this is my first one. I want to be picking up these stitches on this right hand needle now. I'm sure this is the most cack-handed way to do this. I don't mind if it works in the end. That's 3. 4. So yeah, I'm just going to work my way along like that, picking up these stitches as evenly as I can to end up with 14 on the needle, evenly spaced across here. And if anyone knows a really nice straightforward tutorial for this bit that you can recommend, or you can just give me any tips, I really appreciate it. Sorry for all the creaking noises. That's my husband walking up and down outside. No idea what he's doing. Getting his 1,000 steps in or something. So, I mean, that looks alright in the end, but I just feel like there must be a tidier way to do it. So here we go. I've picked up those 14 stitches. Cack-handed though it looked, it seems fairly neat to me. And now I'm going to carry on and knit across these 14 that are at the top of the heel that I already had on my needle. There we go. So I've now knitted all across there, and then the next thing is to pick up 14 stitches again coming down the other side of the heel. Okay, this looks maybe slightly less cack-handed now, so I've already picked one stitch up working up the other side of the heel. So if I go in here to pick up another stitch, pull it through my crochet hook and slip it onto the needle. I don't like this evenly spaced thing. I don't understand how I'm supposed to do that, but oh, so me saying this might look slightly less cack-handed. It doesn't, does it? There has to be a better way that I'm not doing. Oh, Paula, I wish you were here. Okay, so I'm going to carry on in my cack-handed fashion until I get to the other end. Back in a minute. Okay, I've finished picking up stitches down the other side of the heel. So now I've got 42 stitches on my needle all together, and that agrees with what it says in the pattern. And now I'm going to start with the purl row. So I'm turning now, and I'm going to do 3 rows of stocking stitch and then carry on following the instructions. And the rest of the instructions were quite straightforward to follow, I thought. And this bit you just picked them up again and knitted up and end up decreasing for the toe. All the rest of it seemed fairly straightforward until I got to the casting off part. So you end up with this piece. As long as you want the foot to be, you can increase the length at that point, and then you carry on with this, and that again you make it as long as you need it to be. Both sides you decrease to round the toe at the end. But then where I got stumped again, and maybe people watching can help me, is you end up with both of these pieces, obviously much longer, both with just a few stitches left on at the end of the toe. You put both together and you cast off purlwise both of them together, so they end up linked together. Well, I had such a palaver with that. Let me come back up now. I had such a palaver doing that. I tried it over and over again. In the end, I wished I'd just cast both off separately and stitched them together, because I can't really see what the advantage was. And I certainly didn't end up with a neater finish for it by the time I'd finished. So if anybody, again, if you can recommend a tutorial that shows you how to basically hold the two needles together and cast them off together, please let me know if there's any tips. Do you do that if you make socks in this way? Do you cast them off separately and stitch them together, or do you cast them off together? I've never done it before, never done anything like it before. I did do it in the end. Let's just have a look at the one I've made again. What I've done with it. Oh. So this is the point where you are casting them both off together. So from the inside, and it kind of seams them as you go. But to be honest, for all the palaver it took me for the awkwardness of it, I would have been happier just casting them both off separately and stitching that little bit together. I didn't. Of course, my next hurdle then was the stitching together, which I didn't do a great job either. So yeah. I faced a few hurdles along the way with this project, but I'm so happy that I've done it and that I've not given in. I'm pleased with them, and I will wear these socks, and the yarn feels absolutely gorgeous. I'm not far off done with this second sock now, and look, I still have all of this left. I think I'm barely going to go to another ball, so I could certainly knit up another pair again. So I've got choices really. I could just think I'll knit another pair of socks, do it right this time, see what advice you guys might come up with to help me, or I could just think I'll crochet it into something. A pair of wrist warmers would be handy because my wrists are feeling so cold in this weather. Or I could do a hat, or I've got enough to do all kinds of things with. So yeah, and I would be interested to see how this self-patterning yarn works with crochet. Presumably pretty much the same, really. Yeah, on the other hand, I kind of feel like I should maybe do another pair of socks. It hasn't taken me that long in the end, considering, and really get my head around it. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you've got any advice, as I say, I'll really appreciate it. If you're a beginner too, would you tackle this? I think if you do want to put a toe in the water, one of these one-off boxes would be a brilliant idea. And also, if you're an experienced sock knitter and you just love to knit socks, then it would be a great idea too, because you can always, as I said earlier, you can always say that you don't need the needles, have more wool instead or whatever. They're so flexible. They're brilliant. So I think I'm going to leave that there, because it's probably going to be quite long enough already. I will post some pictures in the Facebook group and Discord, and I'll do a community post here on YouTube as well to show you how those socks turned out in the end, and what else I knit with that leftover wool. Don't forget, if you do decide to go and I'll put the link to the website so you can have a look for yourself. If you do decide to order whether a one-off box, take the opportunity for a one-off box. This is only going to be for January, so if you're watching this after January, the discount code won't work anymore. And I don't know if the one-off box will be available. I know it was only going to be available from January. Whether they'll take that off after January, I don't know. So if you are interested, don't leave it too long. And don't forget to put SOCKS10 is your discount code to get 10% off. I think for what I've learned, for the quality of the materials and the generous amount of materials, the fact that I've got 3 pairs of needles there, enough needles and more than enough balls of wool to do any of those socks in that pattern collection, and the little extra goodies and stuff, and all boxed up and beautiful. I just think, yeah, I'm very, very impressed with these boxes. Very happy to recommend them to you guys as well. Otherwise I just wouldn't. Just before I go, I want to say a huge thank you to our channel members. We just started channel membership last week, and I can't believe we got 24 channel members already. I'm going to attempt to put their names up here. I haven't worked out all the technical stuff yet. If you're interested in joining to support the channel, you'll see a button that says join down here. Click on that and that will tell you all the details you need to know. It won't instantly join you, it will just pop up a little window that will tell you how it all works and what you need to do. Please don't feel obliged. I don't want anyone feeling obliged to, but thank you so much to all the people who have joined. It makes a huge difference to me, not just financially but kind of psychologically as well. The support is really appreciated, and we've created some fun little perks just as a little thank you from us for your support, because it's very much appreciated. All that being said, thank you all very much for joining me. If you can't or don't want to join as a member of the channel, you can still support us without it costing you anything at all, just by hitting the like button, leaving a comment, and just subscribing. Subscribing doesn't cost anything. If you do get any of these boxes and have a go at knitting socks and stuff, please do share some pictures. I'd love to see how you get on. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Thanks very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye.